Welcome to day one of Farmer's Apprentice 2018. The apprentices have been given a chance to settle in, and today the competition starts in earnest. Even before they start their first task, there's been some drama.
Good morning, apprentices, and welcome to day one of boot camp. First, I've got an announcement for you. The pressure has clearly told on one of our apprentices. So Abby, who was due to be part of the whole setup, won't be joining us today. So the good news is that the odds just shortened for the rest of you. There are now 9 apprentices at boot camp. Technology is going to play a bigger and bigger role in farming. Harper Adams here is a world leader in farm robotics and automation. Now, we haven't yet got robots running all over our fields, but a lot of the key technologies are already in place.
So this morning, apprentices, you are going to have to set up an auto-steer system on a tractor, and later on this afternoon you will have to take that tractor out into the field and test it, and we'll see how precise it is. You'll be working in competing teams, and the team captains today will be Lauren and Taylor. Team Lauren, Harry, Ashley, Tessa and Libby. Team Taylor, Ben, Sam and Mitchell.
New technology is having a huge impact in UK farming, but to make the most of this cutting-edge kit, farmers must understand how to set it up and use it effectively. For all the potential benefits, in untrained hands this technology can be a huge waste of money. Today, the apprentices must retrofit an auto-steer system to their tractors, installing the GPS receiver, computer display console and electric steering wheel, before testing it out in the field.
Key thing is getting things in the right place and in the right order, so ultimately it'll be down to the neatness of their work as well at the finish of it. So obviously they've got the big components on the screen and the steering wheel adaptation, but it's then where they put the wiring loom in relation to the rest of the tractor as well, so it's not in the way.
What I was expecting at the beginning was for the team leaders to take control and firstly identify what were the elements of the task, and more importantly, what skills did they have in their team and what experience. And actually I didn't see either team doing that. They just seemed to sort of grab the kit and start looking at it and talking to each other without any planning of who was going to do what.
Despite the lack of direction, the teams do seem to be making progress.
So where do we start?
Well, from the beginning.
I did that.
Top down. Top down? Top down.
Outside.
What I'm thinking, right, because that way you wouldn't have the steering wheel on like that, would you?
No.
So I'm thinking take this off, put the shaft in, then put that on top. As you drop the nut in, you kind of have to like fiddle it on with your finger.
So far this morning the challenge has been going pretty good. I was a bit nervous to start with, wasn't something I was particularly familiar with, but it seems to be going all right so far.
The two teams are doing quite well. They both had a very common problem that they both sort of solved, and at the moment it's neck and neck.
So how do you think things are going?
Yeah, really well, really well. Everybody's working great as a team. It's nice having the 4 of us because the boys have obviously got all different sorts of experience with this, and then although it's not my area of expertise, it's quite nice because I can say, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So it's great because we can work together and learn together. It's brilliant.
Hi Lauren, where are you on the project, do you think?
We're getting ready to couple everything up, so we've got all the steering wheel fitted, the boys are on the top fitting the GPS to the cables, we've got the screen going into the cab.
So what are you worried about?
Switching it on and seeing what happens.
Okay guys, Team Taylor, just giving you a 10-minute warning. We're going to be heading out to the field in about 10 minutes.
Is everything in the right place? Tidy everything up, get your eyes nice and neat.
Finishing touches just as well.
Just the finishing touches, you never know.
That's it. We might go in.
Down to the finishing touches.
Yeah.
Everyone's sort of gone off on their own a bit, but it seems to all be coming together now.
It's gone really, really well. We've had a few bits where we've put something together and then looked at it and gone, maybe that's not right, and we've had the experts come over and have a look, so we've adjusted a few things, but really happy with it, really, really happy.
Okay, both teams, we're going to move the tractors out into the field now, so if you can step down from the cabs.
Now for the real test. Connecting a roller to their tractor and using the auto steer to guide it across a grass meadow.
Right, everyone step back.
But first, the teams need to make sure the auto steer is working properly.
We've left the one individual that probably shouldn't be left alone to do this.
We've got Danger Mouse on the track.
Should be all right, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it was really good driving the tractor. It's the first time I've used any guidance or anything like that, so setting it up's all brand new, but it's quite interesting really. I'm glad the steering's working. I was a bit worried when he drove it down to the field, it's just going to go wayward and take him into an edge or something. But yeah, no, everything seems to be going alright so far.
Over with Team Lauren, things aren't going so smoothly.
30 centimetres. If you're going 30 centimetres every time,
You're just wasting time and energy.
10 minutes you got.
Shall we hook it up on there?
We need to make sure that the screen controller is talking to the steering wheel and the steering wheel back to the controller, and then all of those red lights should go green.
It's saying it's detecting the steering controller.
Right, but it's not found it.
No.
Worth checking by the sound of it.
So basically something's not quite right.
At the moment we're struggling to receive a GPS signal, because without GPS we can't steer because we don't know where we are on the ground. So that's quite fundamental.
By any chance, is that connection there not supposed to be in line with the other one? That looks slightly taken out on the right.
We're getting to the point where we're about to maybe jump in there and give them a helping hand.
Instead of being patient and having a look at what's already happening, they've charged in there and pressed too many things on the screen at the same time. So changed lots of settings, and they don't have a clue which setting they've changed has made a difference because they've changed too many things at once.
Farming Diaries, Monday afternoon with Lauren, Tess and Libby.
Challenge 1. The installation wasn't too bad, I don't think. Like
Team spirit was good at the bit.
Yeah, installing it.
We'll get into the crux of the issue. Ashley has just been a complete
A complete...
I just overriding everyone and just deciding that he knows exactly what to do, exactly when to do it, and
He's
doesn't
never
like to be
wrong.
told otherwise. If anything's wrong, it's never his own fault because he's just, vision of godness.
He's
After
the
so
whole occasion.
anyone, even the expert of the whole day, tries to tell him how he should do it. And, oh yeah, well I was going to do that. Oh yeah, it's just cut the.
And then he says he doesn't like this GPS system.
Yeah, but of course it's the GPS system.
Because
it's
he
not
knows
his
it all.
system. Damn.
Meanwhile, Taylor's team are ready to connect their roller.
Let's go. Ugh. Why does the girl get this job? Right, what have I got to do? Reverse it and hook it up?
Yes, you happy with it?
Are you going to help me? That way. Now turn around. Yeah. Oh, oh. Oh, this is magical.
Who's your favourite person out there?
Out of everybody.
Oh, don't start that game. Who's your least favourite?
Out of there, or does it include everyone?
What's not in life?
I think Tess is class because she just says exactly
I
what
think
she
you
means.
fancy Tess.
No,
I
don't
do as
fancy
well.
Tess.
I think you're focusing on me and Taylor fancying each other. When actually you're like, you're just trying to diverge the heart.
I think the best person out there that's not everywhere else is Mitchell.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
Oh, look, they're driving. Right, let's drive.
With the help of the experts, Lauren's team think they're ready to go.
I just realised I'm going to be judged on straight lines now. Oh my lord.
Forward a little bit. Forward a bit. Yes.
Dear goodness. Why are we playing about like this so much?
Now we've unplugged something else.
Where's your GPS gone as well?
Well, that's disappeared now as well, hasn't it?
We're having a few problems. There was one main problem and we managed to solve that, but in the process we must have unplugged something or something else has gone wrong, so it's just not going well.
To start with, the GPS leads were in the wrong way round, so we just had to put those back around the right way again, and now we just need to calibrate the GPS. The third problem was Ashley trying to reverse with the handbrake on.
You can even get it into
Yes,
gear.
I know.
He kept
Oh
about
my
10
God,
minutes
oh my
trying to
God.
get it into gear.
The actual issue was when he starts trying to drive the thing with the handbrake on. Like, I'm sorry, but that is primary. Like, seriously? Oh yeah,
I thought he was an expert.
That's totally the GPS's fault. That's totally the fact that it's a nasty. No, it's a handbrake, lovey. Like, oh my God. So exciting.
But Team Taylor are storming ahead.
Those guys haven't even started yet.
So just altered the numbers again. So we did start at 3 metres, and there's been like different amounts of overlap and underlap. So we're just experimenting with like what happens if we up the number, what happens if we decrease the number. It's just fine tuning it now, really.
It's overlapping a bit, but only
Watch
by
where
a
you're
couple of rows. I definitely feel confident. We've worked really well as a team, and we've got everything sorted. So yeah, I feel really confident.
Buzzing.
I like everyone taking on my words now. I'm surprised no one's heard of it.
I've heard of buzzing.
Buzzing.
I think everyone's just taking the piss, not really jumping on the bandwagon.
I don't like it. I feel like I'm being segregated from the group. I need help. Everyone's bullying me.
Right, do you want 5 minutes on the camera on your own then?
No, don't leave me. Do you want 5 minutes?
Hey?
The girls don't seem to be doing much. I think Ashley's sort of just taken over a bit and yeah, just kind of doing everything but not doing it right and just fiddling. And now we're having to redo everything.
Well, we've got green power now, and so Adelaide's beeping red. We've had a few technical issues, we'll say, and we just had to ask the tech guy to have a wee bit of a look, and he's delving further into the software. Hopefully once he's had a wee bit of a look at it, we might have some luck and we can start the job a bit.
Lauren's team finally get their auto steer working.
Did you want to drive?
Yeah,
Did you want me to
drive.
drive? Oh my god, can you help me?
Team leader.
East. Where are we going? Is it drivable? I know I'm team leader and it's kind of hard to manage a team when we all got so many different things that we can bring to it, but I feel Ashley has been sort of spokesman and tried to be leading really, but maybe I'm more quiet. It's hard to get your voice across when you've got someone very loud and very vocal.
After all their problems, Lauren's team have almost run out of time.
I'm fully ready to lose this task. I think the way that we've dealt with certain situations hasn't been done well enough for us to deserve to win the task at all. Obviously, from Ashley's point of view, seeing the other team do really well and obviously they're driving around the field, it's almost a bit of a kick in the teeth, but it's just very frustrating.
Okay, Team Lauren, that's the end of the task. It's 5:15. We're going to call it a day. The judges, we're going to go away and deliberate and make our decision.
Thank you.
So that's the first task completed. Before we get into the detail talking about individuals or the teams, just general initial thoughts on the overall performance of our young people today?
Because there was no leadership, it took them a while to split tasks up. So they did spend the first half hour all just looking at the same thing and doing the same things, and they could have been doing separate things. But once they had sort of found what each of them wanted to do, they got on very well and pieced the puzzle together.
Yeah, it was a bit of a case of headless chickens to start with.
So what about what separated the two teams?
Team Taylor out in the field seemed to get it together a lot quicker, get the calibrations done on that tractor quicker, and hook onto the roller. They were out with tape measures, down on the hands and knees, measuring, working together as a team, discussing it as a team, and trying to come up with a solution to resolve the problem.
They did feel much more like a team to me, and the morale there seemed to be higher.
Yeah. I think in Team Lauren there was one or two key people who were sort of velcroed to the seat, and they were making decisions for themselves. Whereas in Team Taylor, because they were discussing, it was giving them time to think, rather than one or two people rushing ahead and changing things without consulting everyone else.
So that brings us on to individuals. Who stood out?
Team Taylor, Mitchell stood out for me. He just seemed to be a doer. He got on with whatever was in front of him, and if he didn't have a job, he went and looked for a job. Ben as well in that team, we commented there on how tidy he was.
And I think Harry and the other team in Team Lauren, he was quite sort of thoughtful about his actions. He sort of took it in, had a listen, had a think, and then acted thereafter.
And Harry and that team, when I had to go and help them get the system running, he was the only one who stayed by the tractor all the time and paid attention to what I was doing. He was trying to learn what he should have been doing.
Okay, so it sounds like we think Mitchell, Ben and Harry are the standout performers of the day. Let's see, very early days yet, but maybe some early indication of who's nosing ahead perhaps in the stakes of that ultimate prize. But I think from our discussions it sounds like choosing a winning team isn't going to be hard today.
It's time for the two teams to get the judges' feedback.
Okay, congratulations apprentices. You've completed day 1 of boot camp. Now we set you a really tough challenge, and I think it's fair to say that both teams found it challenging at times. We've had a deliberation, we've come to our decision, but before we announce which team has won, I'm going to ask our judges to talk a bit about how you performed and give you some feedback. Robert, I think we both thought that both of the teams could have done with a bit firmer leadership. That could have maybe helped things along the way. Is that fair?
Yeah, it is, and I think from the start I was a bit disappointed in the leadership, unfortunately, today. The leaders didn't take a grasp and take control and find out who had the strengths and weaknesses in each team and delegate enough.
But overall, both teams managed to put together a fully functioning auto-steer system and get it working in the field eventually. So that's a great achievement. Congratulations to all of you. But there's only one winning team. Robert, who did we choose?
Well done to all of you, but unfortunately there is only one winner, and it's Team Taylor that are the winners of the challenge on the first day of the Farmers Week.
I'm so happy to have won the first task. It's brilliant because it sets you on such a high for the rest of the week, so I'm really, really happy.
Congratulations Team Taylor. The good news is the bar is now open, so why don't you take your team off Taylor and have a well-deserved beer or two in the bar. You can go now.
Good news.
Lauren, you're not quite finished yet. Can you just pick 2 members of your team to stay behind to help us understand what maybe could have gone better and how you could have done things a bit differently?
Let's say Ashley and Tessa.
Ashley and Tessa. Okay, the other 2 of you can disappear. So, Lauren, initial thoughts. What do you think? What do you think were the challenges you faced, and what do you think didn't go so well with the team?
Quite a big challenge, as I'm probably a bit quieter than some of our other team members. I feel like Ashley, you're quite a strong spokesperson for speaking up. Yeah, it went well. As for everyone kind of grabbed bits and got going, maybe we should have put a bit more thought as to where we need to be and how we need to fit it all up to meet in the middle.
Martin mentioned that maybe you were a bit too quick to try to change things rather than be a bit more methodical. Do you guys think that was a fair comment?
Yeah, it definitely was. Because I think maybe when we laid it out on the bench, maybe we should have assembled it at the start, and checked through the wiring there, maybe saw like a dry test fit, and then once we were in a more tight position in the cab, working around different things, it probably just got us messed up a bit. But
yeah, probably identifying our strengths and weaknesses right at the start was definitely a valid point, but I think it's also about the way we went about through getting help from the experts themselves that we definitely could have improved on sort of taking on board that advice and doing it more efficiently and constructively to avoid the then further implications that we then had.
Yeah. Listen and learn, because there's experts here every day, especially today. These guys are top guys in their field. Speak to them, get information from them, because you'll never get a better chance to learn in this situation. Take it in, take as much of it in as you can.
Okay, don't beat yourselves up. It was the first task, but I thought the issue about strong leadership was true of both teams. I think you're all going to learn from that, so I'm sure we're going to see a change on all the future tasks. You had the hardest job of leading the very first challenge. That's always very hard. That's us done. Off you go and relax for the rest of the day. We're finished.
Thank you. I think the team had prepared themselves for the answer, really. We did what we could. I think we dived in too soon. I think we were so excited about the first task, and everyone's a bit competitive, ready to go. And yeah, definitely something to learn for the rest of the week.
This task is going to involve attaching that 3.5 ton trailer to the back of the Isuzu D-Max.
It's the afternoon and you're going to get your hands on some sheep.
There's a lot of voices and a lot of opinions on how I wanted to do it. That was a bit annoying.